Ain't no spiders out here. It's good, y'all. It's currently 1:18 in the morning. Sitting outside the Elysium gym. Figured I would do a. Let me hold this. A sort of pod, I guess, but like a. I was gonna do it in the podcast room, but I was out here filming for the Halloween drop we just did for Elysium, so I figured just come out here and chill. It's a nice, beautiful night. I haven't uploaded on this channel in a little bit, so I figured it was due. Honestly, I haven't uploaded a minute on my main channel, so that's been kind of due. Got a lot to talk about. I briefly talked about this in my main YouTube video on my main channel, but I said I was gonna go more into detail kind of over here, just because that's how it is over here. This is like my Christian slash. I don't know. This is just I like this channel more than my other one personally, just because the podcast and stuff, this impacts more people. And the podcast, I wish I had freaking friends and I could do podcasts with more people, but I don't. I kind of keep to myself a lot. So I hope you guys still like, even when I'm just yapping about some Christian topic about myself. I want to start doing some like reactionary content, like reacting to different Christian stuff on here or whatnot. But yeah, we might as well just get straight into it. So I took a little step away from social media. I haven't taken a break for the last 3 years that I've done social media. I have uploaded every single day. Well, like maybe not on YouTube, but uploaded on all platforms, whether it's TikTok, always multiple times a day, Snapchat multiple times a day, Instagram, YouTube 3 times a week. It's always been a thing that I have to do. My OCD just made me do it every single day no matter what. And I think that's a big reason why I kind of gained the success that I did. But this was the first time in a 3-year period where for about a little over a week, I was able to have the mindset, okay, I'm not going to worry about the socials. If I have the time to do it, I'll do it. If not, I'm just going to take a step back. And that's kind of what I did. It wasn't a complete 100% break from socials, but for me, that's basically what it was, because I wasn't really doing much at all. And it got to that point, for me doing social media, right? And this is, I hope you guys don't see this as me complaining. This is just the reality of it and how it is, and I'm just being completely vulnerable with you guys. I've never been able to really. There's been plenty of days in the last 3 years where I was going through it mentally, and if you guys know my life story, I have a tendency to have mental. I hate calling it mental illness, but it's just I have a history of mental stuff, like anxiety, derealization, depression, whatnot. And yeah, Jesus has healed me from a lot of it, but when you're in certain scenarios and you let the devil kind of creep in a little bit, that stuff can come back tenfold. And I'd say the last 6 months I've been dealing with it, and I've been kind of thugging it out and whatnot. I mean, you guys saw when I went to the hospital, all that stuff was surrounding basically anxiety and a little bit of depression on the side. More depression lately than anxiety, honestly. And, having to post every day, like I said, there's been times where I've had this happen before, even last year. And because this is my career, my job, and I have people counting on me and sponsors counting on me, I have to continue to thug it out and to post regardless of how I feel. And sometimes it feels almost in a way fake, because it's like I'll be going through it and I'll be extremely not motivated, extremely sad. And I'll have to turn on the camera vlog and be like, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Alex Eubank here. Hold up. And it's and even for Snapchat, having to go to a sponsored post or whatever. And I mean, then as soon as the camera goes off, I'm back to that numb feeling, and it sucks. And I always took a lot of, I always tell people how vulnerable and stuff I am. So for a minute, it sucked, because I didn't feel like I could be like that. You guys see me and you're like, oh, what's he have to be stressed or depressed about? He's famous, extremely successful, well off, whatever. And I'm here to tell you, that doesn't mean shit. That stuff does nothing. You can be the most successful rich person in the world and be the most depressed. And that's been shown plenty of times. I'm sure you've seen people who have taken their life and whatnot who are extremely well off and successful. And mental illness is not something to bat an eye at, bro. It affects a lot of people, and it's not talked about enough. And that's why I feel the need to honestly talk about it a little bit in this video, because I got to a point where I hit my breaking point. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't just I needed to take a break from it and just think back to like what am I here for? Like what am I doing this for? For the social media stuff, it started off as fun, it became a job, and that's kind of what I hold up. It got to a point where it was becoming more of a job. I had people who count on me, like my dad, quit his job recently to do Elysium full time, and obviously me being the person who sells all like the stuff, it can be stressful in places like a little bit of a little bit of load on me because I feel like I have to perform even more now. That's not blaming him or anything. That's just like an example of it, of why it's become more of like a job now. Than it still can be fun sometimes, but it's not as fun as it used to be. And I don't know if that's because like the newness wore off, or I don't know. I mean, think the reason why I got to my breaking point, and when I say breaking point, I'm saying like, bro, was I I haven't told nobody this, and I don't care. Like, people need to know because this could help somebody who's going through it too. Like, one night I was really bad, bro, and I was thinking about things I shouldn't have thought about. And I remember, like, I was gonna text my dad all my bank account information, like my account numbers and my passwords and whatnot, because I was like, see, you get in that mindset, bro, and then you spiral, and it's like the more you spiral, the harder it is to bring yourself up out of it. And you get in that mindset of where you think like negative thoughts or like wanting to hurt yourself or whatever it may be. And I've done that in the past, and I kind of was having that mindset, and like, and you start spiraling, and then you feel like you got no one there to kind of help you in that moment. And it's like you want so bad for someone to just reach out to you, but you don't want to like bother anyone, or you're afraid I don't know how to explain it. And like it's been worse more recently because I feel like I really have no one to go to, and like it's gotten worse since I guess like the fame and whatever social media stuff kind of popped, because like I feel like I don't have a true close friend that I can go to. Even now it's like I feel like I can't even go to family, so it gets extremely isolating. And when I start spiraling, it's like I'm afraid to reach out to anybody because I don't really trust anybody. And for me, I have abandonment issues, bro. I have trust issues. I have whole whatever. And so for me, it was hard for me to do that at that night when I was going through it really bad. But thankfully, I was able to come out of it. And I found myself getting like that more frequently the last like few weeks. And once you kind of get in that mindset, it's more often to happen again. So now like something small could happen that like makes me a little sad or upset, and I'll like be extremely like I'll cry, bro. It's so ass. It's like annoying. Like I freaking was about to be in my bag because I came to the warehouse tonight to film a photo shoot, and I dropped my camera and my flash broke, and then my medicine for my shoulder wasn't here, and I like just got like I started to get upset, but I thugged it out. Whatever. I'm not like a little bitch. I got over it, and I ended up doing a different type of photo shoot. But yeah, bro, it was bad that night. And that's when I realized I was like, okay, I need to recenter my focus. I need to recenter my relationship with God. Since then, I've only been listening to worship music. I've been watching The Chosen like crazy, which is a great show. I recommend to anybody. But I like, bro, I was contemplating like literally, I've been looking at houses in Charlotte. I'm like, maybe if I move to Charlotte, I can start going to Elevation Church and hanging out with them guys and be in an environment where I'm around like-minded people who can help me with my faith, because like it's hard being by myself. Like I don't have anyone, ever since like the twins moved out and like being kind of on my own. It's been hard because I've been extremely like lonely and isolated, and I feel like I got no one that I'm like really close to or friends with. So when I'm going through stuff like that, it's hard to like get brought out of it. And obviously like the faith and everything helps, but like it's hard to really deepen your faith when you're only one doing it. When you're around like-minded people who also are keeping you accountable and trying to help you with your faith, it's so much more fun. And that's why I was like thinking about the whole going to Charlotte thing, just because I hung out with a few of those guys down there, and they're just really cool people, and I feel like it would really help me a lot. But then again, I have like the warehouse, everything here in Maryland, so I feel stuck in that sense in a way. But yeah, I just feel like there's been a lot of pressure on me, a pressure to perform, a pressure to not perform, not only like for sponsors or for like, is to perform for you guys in a way, like to keep this, like I'm not the funniest guy, I'm not the loudest dude, I'm not the most aesthetic, I'm not the biggest, I'm just me, I'm just Alex Eubank. Like that's just who I am. And I feel like, especially the fitness industry, the direction's been going, it's a little bit different. And I don't know why, but I've been getting like hated on social media recently. And it's like that quote in Batman, like, you either die, I talked about this in my YouTube video, you either die here or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I feel like that's the way it's been going. And like that definitely plays a little bit of a role. Like a year ago, people were like, And I don't care. Like, this still never got to me, but it's just sucks to see. It's better for feels better when people are praising you and talking about you in a positive way all the time than be shitting on you. And I felt like last year I could go through my TikTok mentions or Instagram mentions, and it was just people making videos and how I inspire them, and that stuff felt good. You know what I mean? It felt really good, and I would follow them back. And then now it's like I do it, and it's just like, I don't know. People are really negative. You know how social media is. And again, I say, like, I don't really give a shit what people think about me on social media because I know what my purpose is here. At least I think I do now. But when it goes from like one polar opposite to the other, for like, you haven't even done anything, it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I get shit on for being, I don't know, whatever. But it's not even that. It's like everything. It's that I've had personal issues and like other stuff in life that I don't really want to talk about. And I just feel like all at once everything's kind of crashing down on me, and I just hit my breaking point where I that night, like I said, I was like thinking about giving up, right? And that sucks to say because like I am so blessed, and I even feel bad for even thinking that in that moment. I'm so blessed, and I have everything I could ever, in a way, want. But that night I was just feeling like it was just I couldn't do it anymore, and that's why I said I had to recenter my relationship with God. Think more, gratitude, have gratitude for more things. Think about maybe how I could give. What can I do moving forward in like the next year as this year comes to an end, to find a way to have more fun with this stuff again, and then have more of a purpose, because I feel like I've been lacking that purpose a little bit. Now it's cool, like people tell me I got them into lifting is cool, but I think what I need to focus on more is like the faith stuff, because when people say how I help them find faith, that's where I get like emotional, because I know what it's done for me and how it's helped me. So also too, like, bro, when I think of things, I'll like have ideas for like types of content I could do, or like that worship night meetup that I want to plan really bad soon. And I'll have like I swear it's like God telling me to do it. I've had this for the longest time. I'll think of something that in a way I don't want to do it because it requires a lot of work and me putting myself out there, but my spirit knows that I should do it, and my ear will twitch. It's the weirdest thing. My ear will like twitch, and I can never recreate that feeling unless I think of something like an act of giving an extraordinary amount, or doing something solely for other, completely just selfless, I get nothing out of it, or doing like the worship event and pouring money and effort and energy into making sure that people can get saved like on a night like that, and I'll feel my ear twitch. Or like me going into like Discord and like spending time and just Bible study for an hour talking to y'all, which I used to do. I need to do that more again. Or like trying to lead a younger generation to faith through being a leader like that, and like through a Bible study or whatnot, or creating more Christian content. I'll have that twitch. And a lot of the times I just don't act on it because I don't know if I'm afraid or what. And I feel like I need to start acting on that twitch that I get when God, the Spirit, puts that. Someone told me, I read about this, that how can you distinguish the voice of God from like your own thought in your head? And they made a good analogy that kind of really spoke to me. And let's say when my mom calls me on my phone, I don't even have to look at the caller ID. When I hear her voice, I know it's my mom. I'm not going to be like, who is this? I'm not going to question it. I know it's my mom or my dad because I spent a lot of time with them and developed my relationship with them since I was a kid. Now, versus if a stranger calls me and I haven't talked to them that much, or if like maybe a friend that I've loosely associated myself with, I'm going to be like, who is this? Who's that? And they're going to be like, oh, I met you at the gym, whatever. And be like, oh, yeah, I remember you. That's the same way how it is with God, that when you actually developed your relationship with him and you're intimate with him and you spend time with him, when he goes to call you or talk to you, you recognize his voice. You recognize that it's God and not your own thoughts or something else. And that kind of really hit me when I heard that. I was like, that makes sense, because I always wondered, how do I hear God? How do I know when God's directly speaking to me? But how else am I supposed to know when God's speaking to me if I've been lacking my relationship with him? I should be spending more time in the Word and fellowship and worship and whatnot. So that's like something I've been convicted of recently. And hope that maybe helps some of you guys, maybe if you feel like you've been lacking a feeling of hearing God. And I swear, when I have that little twitch, I feel like that's God like trying to speak to me, to tell me to do something, because he's blessed me with such a good platform. And I need to find a way to be better. I don't know, like, I feel like, how like when you start dating someone, like the beginning, it's always like fireworks, it's always super fun, and then after it's a little bit longer, you start to kind of like, it gets harder, it's more of a commitment, more of a decision rather than like a feeling. I feel like that's how it's been with my relationship with God more recently. When I first kind of got baptized in 2020, I was like really deep in my faith, like deep in it. Loved it. Everything was new, it was amazing, and nothing could have been better. And then now more, I feel like it's gotten to a point where I got to have discipline with it, because it might not always feel great, but I need to have discipline with it, and then I know that God in time will, bring back those feelings and whatnot. But it's been hard on my own though, for sure. I think that's where I'm lacking the most, is just me isolating myself, especially when I get even more upset and I get in my bag. I'll have people reach out to me. It's like I don't even want to talk to them, because like I just isolate myself and I just want to curl up in like a ball and not do anything. Like that's how I'll get. And I think this is a big step for me, just at least being even open about this on socials, because I feel like it helps me, I guess, start that process of being vulnerable and open about it and whatnot. What kind of bug is that? There's like some weird bug like levitating on the ground. What was I gonna say? But yeah, so yeah, I got really bad. What else? Had to take a step back. I think another thing that kind of has been weighing on it is like the highs and lows of social media. Like for a minute, I was placing too much of it in my hands and not God's hands. I was trying to have too much control over the numbers, how well stuff was doing, and I wasn't being grateful for it. I kept trying to do more and more and more, which you can't do. And I've been doing social media for 3 years. It's hard to stay like the number one, and I'm really competitive. I think this is like where I need to let my ego die, and just live for God and His purpose and not my own. Where being at the top for so long, it's really hard to stay at the top. Obviously I've done really well, and I've been doing really well still, but it's like I want more, like subconsciously, and I'm like telling myself like, bro, just be happy with what you got. God has blessed you with an amazing, huge platform. Like you're doing fine, and it's like I want to just like I want more, but I need to like let that part of me die. It's still good to want more. Like I'm not saying don't want more. You should be motivated to do better and to want more. But it'd be weird because I'd have like that feeling to want more, and then like I would be so like down bad, depressed and stressed that like I just wanted not do anything. So it was like a constant battle in my head, and it was just really isolating. I really don't know how to explain it. That might sound like mad confusing to y'all, but like I'm just honestly speaking out loud as if I was. These to me is a therapy session. Like this is just me just speaking to someone. But yeah, man, like people see like, oh, he's got all these followers, all this, and yet for a minute I was feeling like the loneliest I ever have in my entire freaking life, and that shit hurt. And I had something happen to me the other night, which I'm not gonna go into detail about. And after that, it got really bad. And I'm gonna tell you all this. I'll tell y'all, because I'm vulnerable over here. And I had something bad really happen. This was a different night. This is before that night where I was about to text my dad my bank info. I was driving after something bad, I guess I went through. And I felt really lonely, and like I couldn't go to anybody, not even my family. And I drove to a liquor store like 1 a.m. in the morning, only when I was open. It was in the hood, ghetto ass area. Hella people were out front. It was like a Friday or Saturday night, and I was going in to go buy something to drink, and I don't drink like that. And I just felt like maybe the alcohol would like numb the pain in a way, which is stupid. And as I'm going to walk in the store, there's a bunch of people out front. There's this big dude looked at me, and he was like, where's your smile at? He said, don't let anybody take your joy. And he kept telling me that, repeating it. I was like, smile. He kept telling me to smile. And he's like, don't let anybody take your joy. And then I went in the liquor store, kept thinking about the guy, came out, he was there again. He shook my hand, and he was like, your joy is your most valuable thing you have in life. Don't let anybody take it. And that to me, I was like, bro, that's got to be like an angel sent from God. Like the fact that randomly happened when in that moment I was feeling so down, and just joy was the last thing I was thinking about. And when you think about like biblically, like God gives you joy. The fruit of the Spirit is joy. It's happiness. It's peace that passes understanding. And I just, I really thought about that night. I thought that was crazy because I was in the hood, bro. No one should have tried to talk to me, bro. I was just a little white boy with long hair being in someplace I shouldn't have been. And he said that. And the fact that he said that, he must have seen it in my face of just how I looked. He could tell that I was going through it. And that was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That was like, really been thinking about that since then, like not to let anybody take your joy, and maybe not place your joy in other people, to place it in God. I feel like a lot of us, try to use our joy and our happiness. We rely on other people or on an outside source, whether it's money, fame, success, status, to give us that joy. And those things will always fall apart and fall away because they're on a loose foundation, versus God is on a firm foundation that's always going to be there. So I feel like all this stuff basically is just reminding me to deepen my faith with God. That's what I'm learning from this. I need to deepen my faith with God. I need to find people that I can surround myself with who are going to keep me accountable and who are going to help me further my faith. And I still don't know how I'm going to go about doing that. Being in Maryland here, it kind of sucks. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe the Discord, we can find a way to just be a lot more open about our faith and the Bible studies. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy stuff like this. It's just me straight up speaking out loud. But don't worry about me. Don't feel bad for me or anything. I'm okay. God always has my back, bro. God is the most fulfilling thing of all time. When I get down bad and I start bumping some worship music or some worship rap, I will put my hand up and praise to God, because when I feel His Spirit, like, it's the most fulfilling thing ever. And when I'm lacking now, I just remind myself to pray and to put on that song or whatever it is and to sing those words as if it's my own. And it gives me peace. It allows me to feel God's love when I feel like I'm unloved. That at least He loves me, when sometimes my brain will convince myself, which it's never true. The devil will always play tricks on you, and the devil knows you so well. So he knows how to speak to you. And for me, as a person who struggles with, I've had issues with this abandonment issues and self-worth issues. The devil knows how to play against me and telling me, like, oh, you're worthless. No one loves you. No one cares about you. If you were gone, no one would care. Like, that's the tricks that the devil tries to tell me in my head. And then, but what does God say about me? Like, what does God say about me? God tells me that I am loved. God tells me that He cares for me, that he knows my future, that He knows the sorrow that I'm going through. And when He sees me as a child of God, that was worthy enough for Him to give His one and only Son to die on the cross for me. And it says in the Bible that for a man to give up his own life for someone else is like the greatest sacrifice of love that there ever could be. So if God was able to do that for me, and that's how He sees me is worth to Him, that worthy where He was able to do that for me, then how am I going to convince myself that I'm any less than that? So when you feel yourself or other people or the devil trying to convince you of who you are, just try and go back to see what God thinks about who you are, because that's like where you should be getting your information, your sources from. But yeah, so I was going through it for a minute. I'm gonna find myself. We're doing good. We're doing better now. Maybe me doing this more frequently, even if it doesn't do well, bro. Even if even if it doesn't perform well, it is what it is. I feel like I get more fulfillment now out of me being open about my faith and helping lead others to it. Work on trying to set up this worship night event, and doing stuff like that. And I feel like we'll be good. You know, I got to stop placing things, and I don't know. And I hope you guys enjoy the type of content, because I might have to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that yap session. Love you guys. Let me make sure this is recording. Imagine this wasn't recording the whole time. All right, yeah. Excuse me. We're in the Elysium hoodie, by the way. Halloween drop. If you guys want to go check it out, ElysiumAthletic.com. I think we might be having a 20% off sale, Halloween sale here soon. If you guys want to go check it out, show some love. It does mean the world. We also have some Christian designs as well. Love you guys. Code Alex Singale. I'm flying. Until next time. Peace out.